Okay. With respect to some controversies, I've discovered, for example, this seems to be the case with affirmative action, it's not that difficult to come up with other analogies that are not particularly bizarre. Okay? With pregnancy, I at least have found, both in my own writing and in the writings of other people, it's really, really hard to think of another case that's like pregnancy. It's virtually unique in many respects.
I just wanted to reinforce one of the things that he said. I think you're absolutely right in saying that pregnancy is a unique case.
Brett, welcome to Catholic Answers Live. Thanks for holding through the break.
Yes, how you doing?
Good. All right, how are you, Brett?
Yes. So my question is to Trent Horn, that I know we're going to be splitting hairs in a moment, but he believes that a woman should have the baby aborted, per se, if I may use that word, if the woman's life's in danger. So to me, Trent has his reasons why a baby should be aborted. And why don't you respect other women's right to have an abortion? You have your reasons, and women have their reasons. Your reason, once again, is when the woman's life is in danger, the embryo fetus should be taken out, ultimately killed. Or women have their other reasons, whether it's for career, mental, whatever. So why don't, since we all accept abortion at some level, why aren't you pro-choice, Trent Horn?
Okay. Brad, I have a distinct feeling we may have spoken before, but maybe I've spoken to you on another call-in. But I think I want to clarify what I said earlier about abortion in the case of a woman's life is in danger. It comes down to defining what a person means by abortion. So, I don't believe one should directly kill an innocent human being, but a human embryo or fetus may be removed indirectly, such as in the fallopian tube or through a hysterectomy, if there is a threat to the mother's life. So they might be indirectly aborted in that sense. But let me go back to what you're talking about. Your argument, I'm not sure it really follows. You're saying that, let's say I believe what you said, even though that's not my position, that it's okay to have an abortion to cause an unborn child's death to save your own life. I don't believe that. But how could you jump from that to it's okay to kill your child in order to keep your job? Do you see there's a wide gulf between those two reasons? That would be like saying it's okay if a adult and child are drowning in the ocean to not save the child and save the adult, and the child dies, and from that it would be okay for you to drown the child yourself so that you don't have to be a parent anymore. Do you see how those cases are really different? One is life versus lifestyle.
Well, Peter Kreeft from Boston College, a philosopher, he was debating David Boonin.
Yes, yeah.
And they both agreed at the end of the debate that there was no analogy or scenarios that could compare to a pregnant woman. So I would say that your comparison does not compare to a pregnant woman, just as Peter Kreeft admitted to David Boonin. They both admitted, great philosophers said, hey, there's no analogy that can compare to a pregnant woman. So that your analogy doesn't apply to a pregnant woman.
Okay, well let me rephrase, Brett. I will agree with you there. Well, it depends what you mean by an analogy. A
comparison, whatever. They said there's not, because they both failed. At the end of the debate, they both admitted that they failed in all their examples to compare to a pregnancy. They both admitted to each other, like, yeah, we both admit that there is nothing that can compare.
Okay, Brett, I'll give you an example that I think is very similar to pregnancy. In the year 2000, in England, there were two girls who were born. They were conjoined twins. So one twin was able to live on her own, and the other twin could not survive on her own, and separating them would cause one of the girls to die, but doing nothing would cause both to die. So this British court ruled that because both of them were going to die and nothing could be done to save the second twin, the weaker one, that the separation was okay. But the court did agree in that case that both girls, even though one was not quote-unquote viable, they were both persons, they both had a right to live. In this case, it came down to preserving one life instead of losing two. But imagine we had a case of conjoined twins where one twin was just simply sick of the other one being attached to them. There are girls in Minnesota, they're dicephalous. They are conjoined at the neck. They have one trunk and two heads. should one of the girls be allowed to lop off the other girl's head so she can have a normal life? It's her body, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's different still because the embryo and fetus is a separate unit from the mom.
Wait, what do you mean that it's separate?
Yeah, but it's a separate entity. The baby inside of the mom is living off the mom's bloodline, but it's a different human being. There's two humans, and it's not conjoined as what you're saying. You're just talking about conjoined. A pregnancy is not a conjoined situation like that.
How is the fetus or embryo related to the mother? Are they Are they joined in any way?
Yeah, the embryo fetus survives off the mom, but it's not conjoined like a Siamese twins, whatever. They're not conjoined in that manner, as you know. Because when the baby is born, it comes out a singular baby. So it's not a fair comparison to me. I just don't agree with your comparison. I agree with David. I mean, Peter Kress, that there is no comparison.
No, but hold on. We need to go back. Number one, even if there were no identical case, if pregnancy were just a completely unique occurrence with no other comparisons in life, that would just show maybe we couldn't have any discourse on the issue. It wouldn't vindicate the pro-choice position either, because you couldn't compare it to having an organ removed or something like that. You just couldn't have any discourse at all. And I think that people still use analogies all the time on both sides, so we can't just get rid of them. We have to see which are more likely to be correct. And I disagree with your assessment. The original quote-unquote Siamese twins, I forget their names, but that's where the name for conjoined twins, people say, oh, those Siamese twins. These two men from Siam were joined by muscle and blood connecting them at the abdomen. How is that really that much different from a fetus or embryo being connected to the mom through the placenta?
Well, I don't want to get caught up on that point. What I want to get caught up on real quick, because I know your time is rolling, is that you believe that the fetus should be aborted. That you do. Why don't you? I
don't believe it should be directly killed. I do think if two people's lives are in danger, you can intervene licitly, and one of them might unintentionally die.
Okay, if the woman's life's in danger and the fetus embryo is only 3 weeks old, right? You and I both know the embryo is going to be killed. So when the doctor goes in there, he knows he's going to kill the embryo. That's a fact that everyone knows, and you understand that.
But, Brett, just because you know something's going to happen doesn't mean that you intend it. I know that if I build a new highway, people are going to crash their cars and die. But it doesn't mean I intend that to happen just because I know it will happen. It's an unintended, foreseen consequence.
Okay, and that's where we disagree, because a doctor knows, and when we hang up, talk to any doctor, when he goes in to take out an embryo in the fallopian tube, right? When he goes in, he knows he's going to kill that embryo. The mom knows, the father knows, everyone knows that embryo is going to be killed. And you know that too.
Brett.
I think you're splitting hairs to get out of the, admitting you do, accept abortion at some level.
Even if you narrowed it, though, would you agree there is a difference between killing a human being in order to save your life or to not be killed, and killing a human being so you can protect your job or your lifestyle? Would you admit there is a legitimate difference between those two motives?
No, I don't. See, that's the difference.
Okay,
Just listen really quick. It comes down to choice. I mean, it comes down to your own personal reasons. You have your reasons to killing an embryo. You have your reasons. Or a woman has her reasons. And since we're operating on reasons, how come we just can't agree to say, hey, I have my reasons, Trent Horn, and that woman has her reason? Your reason is for the woman's life's in danger. Her reason is for her career or marriage or whatever.
Okay, so Brett, let me give you this. Let's say one woman kills her husband because she thinks that he's going to kill her. Another woman kills her husband to inherit his insurance policy. Are they both equally moral? They both have reasons.
Well, hang on. It goes back to Peter Kress and David Bunin, two great philosophers probably of this century. They both said you cannot make comparisons to a pregnancy, and that's what you're doing. And it doesn't work. We have to stick to the embryo, and you will have the embryo killed at the woman's life's in danger, and I agree with you. I agree with that. Why not agree with women who have the embryo killed for their own reasons, for their job, for their career, for their marriage, for whatever?
And I think we're just going to have to end it there because we'll have to go to a break soon. But I think, my position is that it's okay to intervene to save one life when two are in danger, but it's not okay to directly kill one person in order to save another. So my position is different than what you articulated. And two, I think any of our callers listening can see that among born people, there may be cases where you unintentionally kill another human being who's threatening your life, but that would not justify you in another circumstance killing that human being in order to keep your job or not be kicked out of school. And that, yes, people have reasons, but reasons do matter. And it's not hair splitting. That's just what good moral philosophy is. So that's an interesting discussion.
With respect to some controversies, I've discovered, for example, this seems to be the case with affirmative action, it's not that difficult to come up with other analogies that are not particularly bizarre, okay? With pregnancy, I at least have found, both in my own writing and in the writings of other people, it's really, really hard to think of another case that's like pregnancy. It's virtually unique in many respects.
I just wanted to reinforce one of the things that he said. I think you're absolutely right in saying that pregnancy is a unique case.
Folks, that was Peter Kreeft and David Boonin in their debate. Both backing what I said in the debate with Trent Horn. That pregnancy is totally unique. So Trent Horn is reduced to coming up with absurd, bizarre scenarios. Trent Horn, you just need to admit, Trent Horn and Stephanie Gray and Scott Klusendorf and all the rest, Greg Koukl, all of you guys, pro-lifers, just admit that you do accept abortion at some level. Just admit it. Stop coming up with these bizarre scenarios.
But imagine we had a case of conjoined twins where one twin was just simply sick of the other one being attached to them. There are girls in Minnesota, they're dicephalous. They are conjoined at the neck. They have one trunk and two heads. Should one of the girls be allowed to lop off the other girl's head so she can have a normal life? It's her body, isn't it?
These absurd scenarios. Doesn't work. As Dr. Peter Kreeft and David Boonin showed, doesn't work. These are two of the greatest philosophers of the century. They would tell you there is no comparison to pregnancy. Pregnancy is totally unique.
With pregnancy, I at least have found, both in my own writing and in the writings of other people, it's really, really hard to think of another case that's like pregnancy. It's virtually unique in many respects.
I just wanted to reinforce one of the things that he said. I think you're absolutely right in saying that pregnancy is a unique case.
Thus, one has to come up with absurd, bizarre scenarios to try to compare to pregnancy. Trent Horn did that in our debate.
But imagine we had a case of conjoined twins where one twin was just simply sick of the other one being attached to them. There are girls in Minnesota, they're dicephalous. They are conjoined at the neck. They have one trunk and two heads. Should one of the girls be allowed to lop off the other girl's head so she can have a normal life? It's her body, isn't it?
Use bizarre, absurd scenarios. David Boonin, Dr. Peter Kreeft, back me, Brett Strong. It's unique. You have to focus on the abortion itself. And Trent Horn, Scott Klusendorf, Stephanie Gray, all accept abortion at some point. So to me, it's intellectually dishonest, or maybe they just haven't looked at their own. They haven't assessed their own beliefs, their own dogmas. But since they accept abortion at some level, they have their own reasons, like I kept telling Trent Horn. You have your reasons. Women have their reasons. Why can't we all get along on this subject of abortion and say, hey, I have my reasons, you have your reasons, and let's even debate on it. Debating is good. But Trent Horn, don't try to get out of the fact that you accept abortion. Stephanie Gray, don't try to get out the fact that you accept abortion. Scott Klusendorf, Josh Brahm, all you guys accept abortion. Don't try to get out of it. Don't do flip-flopping, word twisting, bizarre scenario. Just admit it. You accept abortion. Darren Marquez, in his paper, another great philosopher, he even admits, like, when the woman's life is in danger, you remove the embryo fetus. Yeah, that is an abortion. Don Marquez, read it online. He has a wonderful abortion paper. And even Don Marquez admits, yeah, it is an abortion. Removing the embryo fetus when the woman's life's in danger, that is an abortion. So Dr. Peter Kreeft backs me, Brett Strong. David Boonen backs me, Brett Strong. Don Marquez backs me, Brett Strong. Another thing Trent Horn kept saying in our debate, when the woman's life is in danger, he kept saying it's unintentional.
You unintentionally kill another human being.
When the woman's life's in danger, it is unintentional that the embryo or fetus is killed. It's unintentional. Stephanie Gray likes to pull that. Scott Klusendorf, Josh Brahm, Greg Koukl, basically all pro-lifers like to pull that, especially Christian pro-lifers. Yes, when a woman's life's in danger, the embryo and fetus or fetus will die, will be killed. But it is unintentional. Trent Horn said it again and again on our debate. It's unintentional that the embryo or fetus will be killed when the woman's life's in danger. Yes, the fetus embryo will be killed, but it's unintentional. Trent Horn. Think about it. Unintentional. You didn't mean it to happen, but it happened. You didn't mean it to happen, but yet, when a woman has an operation on a tubular pregnancy, it's intentional. It's very intentional. The mother knows what's going to happen at 12 p.m. The husband knows what's going to happen at 12 p.m. The doctor knows what's going to happen at 12 p.m. The pastor or priest knows what's going to happen at 12 p.m. The grandparents knows what's going to happen at 12 p.m. That the operation will occur and the embryo or fetus that's causing the woman's life to be in danger will be killed. That embryo fetus will be killed. Tubular pregnancy, it's a fact. The embryo will be killed. Everyone knows it. So just say the woman has a tubular pregnancy, and at 12 p.m. she gets the operation to get the embryo removed. That's premeditated. That's on purpose. The operation to end that tubular pregnancy is on purpose. It's very intentional. And since it's an embryo, say the embryo is 3 weeks old, like I said in our debate, then everyone knows the embryo would die. It's intentional that the woman's having a tubular pregnancy operation. It's intentional, and everyone knows the embryo is going to die. So for Trent Horn to keep saying, well, it's unintentional, the embryo would die. Unintentional, you know the embryo is going to die. That's a fact. You're going to kill it. Listen, folks, check this out. Some tubular pregnancies are ended by medicine. Medicine. Some are ended by operations. They either cut the whole fallopian tube off with the embryo in it, or they make a slice in the fallopian tube and take the embryo out. Other methods, you use medicine. So just say the tubular pregnancy, the doctor said, yeah, the proper method is for medicine. Well, that medicine goes in a woman. That medicine kills the embryo. Kills it. Murders it, kills it, whatever. That's very intentional. When you pump medicine in a woman's body to specifically kill the embryo, how more intentional can you get, Trent Horn? Yes, that is one of the methods to end tubular pregnancy, medicine. When you purposely pump medicine into a woman that purposely kills the embryo, how intentional is that? How can you then say it's unintentional that the embryo died when you put medicine in the woman's body to kill the embryo? This is how absurd Trent Horn, Stephanie Gray, Scott Klusendorf, Josh Brahm, this is how absurd they are. I'm telling you, folks, they have not thought about their position, or they're being intellectually dishonest. One of the two. But a tubular pregnancy, to end it, it's very intentional. Just say you try another method. You slice open the fallopian tube, you take the embryo out. 3-week-old embryo. That's intentional. We're taking the embryo out. Just say you take it out intact. 3-week-old embryo intact. You take it out. You know it's going to die. You're killing it. It's like if I went inside of a football auditorium, 50,000 people, and outside there was this killer poison in the air. Well, if I went inside that dome and extracted a individual And I knew, like, hey, this person, whoever I bring outside of this dome, football dome, they're going to die almost immediately because the oxygen is poison. Well, if I go inside that football dome and extract a person out, I know I'm killing them. Because the person I extract, I'm going to take you outside and you're going to die. This is a fact. I'm killing that person. I'm intentionally killing that person. Regardless of your reasons, you're killing that person. If I go inside let's say, the Minneapolis football dome. If I go extract a person out of that dome, knowing that outside they're going to die immediately because of the poison, I'm purposely killing that person. I am intentionally killing that person. That's exactly what tubular pregnancy is. If you use, if you slice open into the fallopian tube, take out the embryo, you know it's going to die. You know when you take it out of that fallopian tube, it's going to die. The embryo is not dead in that fallopian tube at that point. It's not dead. So when you take it out, you're taking a living embryo that's living at that moment just fine, and you're taking it outside the mom and killing it. No different than going inside of the Superdome, extracting a person out, knowing that they're going to die as soon as the poisonous air hits the person. It's very intentional. So Trent Horn, you're a nice guy. Stephanie Gray, I'm sure you're a nice lady. Scott Klusendorf, Josh Brahm, I'm sure you guys are nice people, but you guys are either being intellectually dishonest or you have not thought about your position. And to all of Trent Horn's scenarios of two people drowning, conjoined twins, that's as I played for you, Peter Kraft, David Boonen, and I'll play it again, that there is no scenario that can compare to pregnancy.
With pregnancy, I at least have found, both in my own writing and in the writings of other people, it's really, really hard to think of another case that's like pregnancy. It's virtually unique in many respects.
I just wanted to reinforce one of the things that he said. I think you're absolutely right in saying that pregnancy is a unique case.
So, as I said repeatedly to Trent Horn, you're two people drowning trying to say one does not work. It does not compare to pregnancy. A person is not inside another person. An embryo or fetus is not inside a woman when two people are drowning, two individuals are drowning in an ocean. It doesn't compare. Conjoined twins, they're sharing the exact same blood, many times the same organs. That does not compare to pregnancy. As I said, in the highway, Trent Horn, I'll run by that real quick, that highway scenario you gave. Well, if I build a highway, I know people are going to die. It's not intentional. No, you're right. But if you built a highway and say, hey, at 12 o'clock p.m., Jim is going to be riding with his family and they're going to be killed. That's a fact. If you say, hey, I'm building this highway and it's a fact that Jim is going to come by at 12 p.m. today and his family's going to be killed. And it's going to be done by this method. Well, then, Trent Horn, that is murder. That you killed that person. Just like pregnancy, it is intended. When you pump medicine in a woman's body to end a tubular pregnancy, when you pump medicine and that's specifically built to kill the embryo, you're killing, that's intentional. So your highway scenario does not work. It's not like a woman has tubular pregnancy and you just, what would be accidental tubular pregnancy if you wanted to use one as far as unintentional? Just say a woman came in office and she had tubular pregnancy and the doctor slipped and hit her and she fell on the ground and the baby, the embryo, died. That's unintentional. Like, wow, you had a tubular pregnancy, but I slipped, hit her, the pregnant woman fell on the ground and the tubular pregnancy ended. That's unintentional. But when you pump medicine in, when you got the time, the date, the method to kill that embryo or fetus, that's intentional. I could go on and on, but why bother at this point? Trent Horn, anytime you want to debate me on this, I'd be more than happy to. I've already asked Stephanie Gray several times, Scott Klusendorf several times, Josh Brahm several times. Hey, let's do a debate on abortion, because pro-lifers such as these people, they don't have the goods. They don't have it. When you put the foot to the fire, they flame out. They don't have it. They haven't thought about their position. Their position is non-existent when you push them to the wall. So pro-choicers, learn from Brett Strong. Tell a friend about this, pro-choicers.